Hey everybody, Chris Englebert with Englebert Financial Advisers in Allentown, Pennsylvania. And guess what? It is already June. First of the month update for June is here, and here's what we're talking about today. Again, if you're looking for something to do this weekend, there's a new movie on Netflix called Atlas with Jennifer Lopez. Now, why are we showing this picture here? Because it happens to be very fortuitous that this movie came out here in the last week or so, because guess what's on every investor's mind is AI taking over the world and the stock market. And the movie Atlas with Jennifer Lopez is all about AI taking over the world. She develops an AI robot who becomes learning, and he goes to another planet without spoiling it too much. And she has to chase him down and defeat the AI robot. Meanwhile, she happens to be in her own robot, which has AI involved in it as well. So that's why we're talking about Atlas in the movie, because what's happening in real life, sometimes art imitates life and vice versa, is that AI is taking over the world. We saw a pullback in April on the S&P 500, but then the NASDAQ, the S&P 500, and the Dow Jones made new all-time highs in May because NVIDIA's had blowout earnings again. And if you've been living under a rock and don't know it, NVIDIA is one of the largest or the largest artificial intelligence chip manufacturers out there. So what happened was their blowout earnings literally propelled all of the indexes to new highs as people are saying, hey, AI is the place to be. The AI trade that started at the beginning of the year back in January really accelerated. Kind of hit a brick wall in April as interest rates increased, but then turned around and really got supercharged with NVIDIA's earnings. Now, if you follow some of the popular online investment forums like I do, there's numerous statistics that show NVIDIA is now worth more than the entire German stock market and all of the Eurozone. There is beginning to get valuation problems out there, obviously in the large cap tech, and NVIDIA is probably the poster company for that right now. Now, does that mean NVIDIA is a sell and it's going to go down 30%? I don't know about that. But what I do know is that from a statistical standpoint, trees do not grow to the sky, and stocks that have gone parabolic tend to, after a while, start to provide some more normal returns. But again, let's talk about interest rates. And what ended up happening with the interest rate situation was that we saw that rates dipped briefly in May on good inflation numbers, but then inflation fears again. Literally, we're living in a week-by-week inflation fear, inflation good scenario as these economic numbers come out. Now, by the time you see this video, on Friday, we had some good inflation numbers, and interest rates are starting to ease. They're right around the 4.5% level at the time of this video. We think that's rather fair market. Short-term rates are higher, and we're still going on 2 years of the dreaded inverted yield curve where short rates are higher than long rates, but the Fed has signaled that they're going to keep short rates higher for longer. So we still think there's an opportunity in short-term bank CDs at 5.3, 5.4% for conservative investors. But we think that what's going to happen the rest of the summer is that in both the bond market and the stock market, we kind of chop around at these levels, why people 1 week worry about economic numbers, then the next week they worry about what's going on with the election. One of the hidden areas that we've been talking about literally for the last 2 years has been small mid-cap stocks. And we're seeing, if you look at small mid-cap stocks as measured by the Russell 2000, they're still trailing, and they have not made all-time highs like the Dow, the S&P, and the NASDAQ. We still think that there's a lot of value in the small mid-cap area. And what we believe is going to happen in the back half of the year is investors are going to start to look at the valuations of large cap tech and some of these massive returns, and they're going to start to take some money off the table and look at what's undervalued. And we still believe the small mid-cap area is undervalued and bears some looking at as far as some of your investment dollars go. So let's sum it up. NVIDIA's earnings were huge. They drove the S&P, NASDAQ, and Dow Jones Industrial Average to new highs. And what we saw was we are now seeing people trying to figure out, is there more juice in this rocket as far as the equity markets go for the year? Again, our opinion is that we chop back and forth till we get to the elections. April saw a 5% decline. I would not be surprised if we revisited that particular low here sometime in the next week or month or so. And then as far as interest rates go, we think that the inflation numbers have come out better, But again, we are literally data dependent, using that Fed phrase, that every week, depending upon the different inflation numbers, is going to determine how the bond market reacts. But we still think there's value in the short end as far as the bond market goes. And again, if you're looking for a place to put some money, that an area that has lagged, and if you believe in regression to the mean like I do, where assets tend to outperform if they've been in a underperforming a situation for a long period of time, that regression to the mean trade is small mid-cap stocks. So that's June, the first of the month update. Again, if you're looking for something to watch this weekend on Netflix, you can watch Atlas with Jennifer Lopez. Good movie. But again, we're trying to draw the parallel between what's going on with artificial intelligence and what's happening in the markets out there. We'll be back next month. We'll talk to you soon.